of advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness, starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery, and we have managed more than $1 billion in recovery. What a show we have for you today. It's all about empathy and community. But before we get there, I want to cover some important topics. And yes, I'm here in our Dallas, Texas office, where we help and support the policy holders of Texas. And if there's anything that we can do and you're in this local market, please let us know, learn about our process. Contact our office here under the guidance of Rob Bowlby, his team with Lauren and others. We're here to help you guys through this winter. We know that there's some reportings of freezes and obviously the temperatures continue to dip, so it's something you definitely want to pay close attention to. And on that note, just recently, over 100 insurers are suing the power company. So what does that mean for you as policyholders? Well, what it means for you is that hopefully this issue can be avoided in the future. Holding those responsible for causing these issues or potentially causing, obviously they need to prove this, and it's certainly something that we're going to see kind of come to fruition over the next, I would envision, couple of years, but definitely in an important case, definitely to monitor and watch, because I definitely think some changes are coming. But you as consumers on the electrical side, unfortunately, when we do see this large scale, what's called subrogation, where the insurance companies then attack the utility industry, sometimes there's the good and the bad. There's going to be legislative reform, but possibly rate increases or hikes to offset or compensate for it. But I would envision that the electrical companies were well insured, and hopefully their own insurance companies will step up and make these insurance companies whole for the damages if it is proven that they were responsible for the damages in the first place. But you as a consumer, you as an insured, what's most important is making sure that you know how to protect your property from damages. And we recently were publishing information on all of our social media channels about what to do, not only for your home, but also for your business or community association. So if you aren't fully aware of what to do or some of the tactics and some of the things that you could do now, particularly because it's, this morning woke up, it was in the upper 30s. Pretty cold, certainly for myself who resides mostly in Miami, but I do enjoy the cold weather. But what's important here is that as the temperatures do dip, there are things you can do to mitigate, prevent these damages from occurring. Now, in the all-out freeze that you did experience in the prior year, I'm not sure that there was much to be done. You had no power, the faucets, you kept them running for however long you can. We had some situations where drains were just overflowing because the drains themselves froze, and you had other mechanical systems that were supporting the flow of the water that also failed or froze. Again, you can only do as much as you can, but if you need help or assistance with it, I'd recommend you hit up our social media, check it out, and while you're there, like us and follow us, obviously. Some really great tips. We're also going to be distributing and making available on our website at GlobalPro.com a downloadable form with all of the tips and tricks that you need in order to help prevent damage to your property. In the event that something were to occur, there's also information there as to how to report those claims. Because what we're finding with some of the underpaid and denied claims is that there was simply a lot of misinformation from agents and brokers and insurance companies, even some misleading or confusing information on the Department of Insurance's own website regarding how to report a claim, what's covered, what's not, additional living expenses, things like that. So we're going to include all that information. It's all packed in there. Obviously, we include as much as we can, but we don't want to overwhelm you with all this information. Best thing you do is pick up the phone, call us. Our team is ready to help you and walk you through this. Now, back in South Florida, we had an issue just a tremendous tragedy regarding Champlain Tower, South Tower, and the collapse of it. And the federal government's reaction to it more recently was to enforce certain rules, regulations, and sanction and with regards to mortgages. It's a very confusing set of facts and information as to how it relates to associations, also as to homeowners. But really important information, and I'm not going to go through all of the details of it here on this broadcast because I want to get to our guest. I want to talk about community and empathy, but I really think this is a great transition because about all the tremendous things that we were able to do to help and support the community. Now we have the federal government that stepped in. They've imposed certain sanctions with regards to mortgages. But again, that's not state reform and that's not insurance reform. So don't confuse the two, but it's really important information. And if you want to know more about it, in our newsletter, if you're not subscribed to it, definitely do. There was a great link and a whole breakdown as to how those things may impact you as a homeowner. So definitely look into that information. And I want to make you aware that there are changes coming. Legislative session is in full gear in Florida, and there's a lot of things proposed as it relates to board member obligations, unit owner obligations, insurance reforms, building code, building inspections. You have the extreme situation and ideas, and then you have some of the lesser, more conservative approaches to this. So we'll see where the chips fall. Some of the people that are leading the charge here, it's a little bit confusing because they used to actually be on the other side of stuff where they were actually fighting reform and did not want to enforce the obligations of certain board members regarding reserves and other things. And now they're out front, supposedly leading the charge on behalf of associations. So make sure you're getting the right information from the right sources, we being one of them. And if you need any more information about that, let us know. Again, we are here to help you as policyholders, as consumers, as business owners, community association leaders, managers. We want to make sure that you have the information you need, and these reforms are really important. Just because you're a property manager doesn't mean you shouldn't know about this, because it's going to impact your unit owners. So really important issue right there. But in the wake of the Champlain South Tower collapse, there was a tremendous community effort to help. And at the time, we had teamed up with Camilla's House to really help with hundreds of people that suddenly became homeless, right? They lost everything. And Camilla's House did an incredible job of stepping up and doing what they can. And many other organizations did the same thing and came to the rescue of our community to help our community rebound. And that is so important. And bringing awareness to these issues is what this is all about. Because unless you're bringing awareness to it, unfortunately, through GoFundMe accounts and other things, individuals get the support they need, but our community may not. And we want to make sure our community is getting the support as well as the individuals, and making sure that that assistance is disseminated in an impactful way. And we at GlobalPro make it a mission to make sure that we are always giving back to our community. And empathy and community involvement are two key cultural things within our business, which makes us, I truly believe, since founding the company in 2012, in the 10th year, I believe it has 100% made us successful. Being involved in the community, giving back, certainly the returns on that are off the charts. And if you own a business or you're on the board of a community association, there is so much you can do. And if you don't have a charitable program, or whether you're an association, and I'm saying this for associations out there because I do know that associations are doing it as well. If your association or your business do not have some sort of charitable program, believe me, even just simply from a team building perspective, it brings your team together for a common goal. You're giving back. It feels good. You're doing so much for the community, and it's not about a direct ROI. This isn't going to hit the balance sheet in any way. This is just because by staying involved in our community, by helping our community, but in various different ways, we as a community can rebound from major disasters or issues quicker. We can come together through social conflicts and things like that, and understand or better understand the other side, because then you'll better understand where people are coming from by being involved, by going to the kitchens where they're serving meals to the homeless, or by getting involved in understanding certain diseases and syndromes and issues that are impacting not only children but adults, and how it's affecting the families and the costs associated with those things and the things that they're going through, and understanding and listening to them about what they're dealing with can help you as a person, help you grow. And also, as you're dealing with your clients, you can take that experience and apply it to your business. And it'll help you and your clients do better and be better. And it'll help our community as a whole continue to grow and continue to get back. I think it's so important. It's something I truly believe in. It's something I've made a massive investment in from early on, from starting GlobalPro. I've made sure that my team has stayed involved. And again, this is not about direct ROI. This is not about making money. This is about acting as a human, giving back, working together. It's about understanding where people are coming from to grow as an individual and to better our community. And our next guest knows all about this, because she has taken the charge in dealing with an issue that impacts more people than we probably know. And through some research and understanding of this stuff, more has become known about Fragile X. And I want to bring on our next guest. And if I scroll through here, give me a second here, guys. We're in our, there you are, Michele. Sorry about that. Michele Kaplan with Families of Fragile X. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to the entire GlobalPro team for being Families for Fragile X champion and partner. And congratulations on 10-year anniversary.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michele. Honestly, it's great. I'm excited. I want to get to like where you're actually sitting and doing this interview and talk all about that. I had an opportunity to learn a bit about it and everything that's going on there. I think it's incredible what you are doing and leading the charge as the president of Families for Fragile X. I want to talk about all the events that you have coming up. I want to increase awareness about Fragile X, how it's impacting our community and families, and what everyone out there can do to help and support, like we are doing at GlobalPro. There's some fun and exciting events that have coming up, and believe me, they're fun and they're exciting. They're family oriented. It's really, and we are excited about it this year. GlobalPro Cares made it a mission to help with Fragile X, to bring awareness to it. So let's talk about it. What is Fragile X in your words? And one thing that comes up a lot, and I wanted to mention this, is it the same as autism? Because I definitely think it's an issue, a bit of confusion regarding it, and it's definitely distinguishable. And something I learned early on, and it was just absolutely floored, and learned so much from it. And people I know are directly impacted by not only Fragile X but also autism. So definitely an important thing to understand and be able to distinguish between it. So what is Fragile X in your words?
So Fragile X is the most common inherited form
Michele's freezing up there a little bit, so we'll wait till the internet catches back up with us. Sometimes we move a little fast through these broadcasts.
One in about.
I think we missed you a little bit there in the beginning, so let's try that again. Let's start out with what is Fragile X in your own words. Yeah, go for it again. Now you're back. There you go.
It's the most common inherited form of mental impairment. It's a lack of protein on the X chromosome. So if you imagine an X, one of the legs is almost limp, and it's wreaking havoc in the brain, and messages are getting lost to and from within that. And it causes severe cognitive delays, speech delays, sensory dysfunction. It is a spectrum, just like autism is. And 33% of individuals affected by Fragile X have a dual diagnosis of autism. So there's a lot of overlap. A main difference of Fragile X and autism is Fragile X kids are much more social, but they don't understand how to take social cues. So they'll go in and give you a hug even though they've never met you before. They'll go home with you, they'll do whatever you want because they just want to be social and they want that interaction, where a lot of individuals with autism will retreat in a social interaction. But there are much more similarities than differences between the two.
So your role within, what is your role within Families for Fragile X, and how does this impact your family?
So Families for Fragile X was founded in 2008 along with 4 other families. And we came together as a group because we found that in South Florida specifically, when we all got the diagnosis, there was nowhere to go. Our pediatricians were not well versed in it. The educators were not well versed in it. And we saw a real need for increased knowledge. So with that, we provide awareness, family support, and raise funds for research. So that's how we got involved. And we've taken the bull by the horn, so to speak, to make sure that Fragile X is well known in the community, which also leads to inclusion in the community, which is just as much of a huge issue.
No, I mentioned it in my introduction about just awareness and how we can help as a family, as a community to help these families, and that is a big part of my message earlier on about the inclusion, and it's so important, and that's why I think awareness for this and how widespread the issue is and how little people know about it. It's so important, the work that you're doing, and I certainly applaud it big time. So how does this affect your family directly?
So we got the diagnosis of Matthew having Fragile X when he was 14 months old, and we were in the dark. We had nowhere to go. We didn't understand what the diagnosis was. And from that point, I don't think Fragile X ever stopped affecting our family. There's always milestones. You have these dreams when you have your kids of being able to do Little League, to have sleepovers, go to the movies as a family, the simplest going out to dinner. And things change, not so much because of the diagnosis, but what Fragile X brings to the table. Because everything, you just take a different path. It's overwhelming to go to a restaurant. He has meltdowns because he doesn't have the language capabilities to explain his wants and needs. So it's a learning curve every day. The diagnosis never goes away. We get a little savvier about how to deal with it as time goes by. So that's where we are as a family. Okay. And so that's why we have families for Fragile X, because we know that there are other families out there that are struggling, that really need resources and support.
And through my own research and trying to understand and the information, and again, is like you mentioned, not a lot of information out there. You're increasing the awareness about it. It's certainly getting a lot more attention now than it ever before. I would definitely think because of your efforts. How does it vary from females to males? And are the treatments the same? Are the symptoms the same? Are they different? I noticed that this is a big highlight and a big focus of a lot of the research studies that I actually did read myself.
So the big difference between males and females with Fragile X is with males with Fragile X, they only have one X chromosome. If you go back to basic biology that you learned in 9th grade, and females have two. And so because females have two, they're able to have their X chromosome that's unaffected. They're able to have more supports in their genetic makeup, if you will, to lack for the one that has the lack of protein. And as far as the treatments, it is really the same. And there's medications to alleviate anxiety, to alleviate different symptoms that come with Fragile X. Sorry about that. To alleviate Fragile X as a whole, and you're really treating the symptom and not the diagnosis.
Well, since we had that, since we heard the noise in the background, tell us a little bit about where you are, because I was blown away by this. You've created an entire school dedicated to helping these children with basic needs. So tell us a little about where you are. I think that was prompting us to move on to that topic. It's perfect. By the way, perfect timing. Yeah. So go ahead. Tell us about where you're sitting. Yeah.
Right. So with Fragile X, one of the main things, because there is no cure, one of the great ways to be able to get ahead and provide as much independence as possible is through therapies. And the best ways to do therapies is through an organic kind of natural environment, rather than in a traditional classroom setting with a worksheet and a pencil and paper. So about 3 years ago, myself and another family who also has a son with Fragile X, we got together and decided that we needed to start planning for the kids' future. And we decided to purchase a home in Southwest Miami-Dade, and we focus on independent living skills, whether it be cooking, gardening, doing laundry, and we also focus on functional academics. So in math, we're learning on counting money. In language arts, we might be doing logo reading, or calendar. We're learning about the weather, and hopefully soon in language arts and technology, learning how to send emails and be a little bit savvier technologically wise. So Incredible. The name of the program is Steps for Success, and
love it.
That's our goal, is to get these kids as independent as possible for the future, and hopefully one day this will be their home.
So for parents that want to test, or expecting parents, what is the process that you can go through to see whether or not you have this issue? Like how do you deal with that situation, and what can parents do to help plan for it?
So Fragile X can be detected through blood work. while mom is pregnant. Sometimes there might not be, it is genetic, but sometimes might not be a family history. In my family, there was no family history of any mental impairment. So this was quite a surprise. So I suggest that everybody that's starting a family do the genetic testing, and at least you're prepared for interventions when your child is born.
So it's not so much of a surprise. It's all about just getting prepared for it. It's about living with the situation and getting
intervention is key.
Yeah, and then getting the support you need, and that's what this I love the school that you have there and what you guys are doing. I mean, you're all in on this, and it's fantastic what you're doing for your own son, and also, I mean, clearly there's a bigger mission here. What is the mission of Families for Fragile X?
The main mission is to bring awareness and find a cure. So the monies that are raised throughout the year for Families for Fragile X locally, we provide educational seminars to therapists and educators in our community, as well as parents. So dealing with how to deal with your child having a struggle at home, to a teacher understanding that Fragile X learners learn a little bit differently. To give everybody that they need the tools in place. And then the second part of that is to provide support and research. So a lot of the funds, 33% of the funds, go to research at University of California Mind Institute, where they provide cutting edge research. And we give seed grants to that. So hopefully there will be a better treatment or future cure. And then the last portion, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Last portion. Go ahead.
The last portion of it is we provide grants for families to be seen at the South Florida Fragile X Clinic, because it can be very astronomical to get to be seen and get global therapy evaluations. So we provide that for the families to be seen. And we also give funds to the National Fragile X Foundation, which focus on government advocacy and parent support.
Very good, very good. I mean,
the dollars are going to places.
Yeah, so it would just right. So some of the biggest challenges facing families, I'm assuming, is going to be just pure economics, right? I mean, to support your child in the way that you would want to. I mean, I have two children. I mean, I would do anything for them. How do families deal with the cost or expense, and what are some of the other bigger challenges facing these families that have children that have been diagnosed with Fragile X?
So the public school system is a great resource as far as therapies in a lot of ways. And one of our missions is to train educators on how to deal with Fragile X, because if the educators know, then that is a free resource. In addition to that, by giving the parents tools of how to do the therapies at home. It's a long road, it's a hard struggle, and there is no easy way, and it's just about giving the tools in place to the best that they can help that family.
That's okay. Yeah, so a lot of challenges there. I'm sure if we looked at the economics when it comes to dealing with this type of situation, I mean, it's just what it means to a lot of families that do not have the means. Making sure that they can get help through the public, school systems and whatever else. It's going to be so important. And again, going back to the word awareness, right? Just building awareness about this and how it does impact our community, how it's impacting families and children, is just really, really, really important. So how can others, like GlobalPro is doing, help you and your mission and Families of Fragile X build awareness? What can they do? Is there fundraisers? Is there donations? Websites? Tell us all about that stuff.
So we have our website, familiesforfragilex.com, and we have our annual event coming up March 6th with GlobalPro Recovery as our lead title sponsor, which we're very happy about and very grateful. And that event provides the funds for the year, and it brings awareness to our local community, and it raises the funds necessary to give the family support throughout the year. So we're really, really, really excited about it. It's a beautiful 5K through Zoo Miami. So we hope that everybody can come out and support it. If you can't come out, there's a donation box on familiesforfragilex.com where you can get involved. There's different ways that you can sponsor the event. And there's also other events throughout the year that will be posted on our website.
Awesome. Well, and if you haven't been to Zoo Miami for a 5K, this is definitely the one you want to sign up for. It's really family oriented. It's fun. You're out there. Everyone's got their kids and everyone's walking through. And then as you walk through the zoo, they actually have signage that educates you about Fragile X, which I thought was fascinating. And myself learned a few things as I was walking around, which I thought was an awesome, perfect placement of information. Gave you something, a little placard to read.
As you walk, you get it all in. And
Exactly.
you almost like a timed race. It is a timed race, so it's a legit 5K if you're trying to do better on your times. And there are finisher medals and awards for placement.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, and you definitely see some competitiveness out there. So definitely train a little bit for it when you come out there. But even if you don't want to run, the walking's fine. I always bring my kids. Whether you're in a stroller or whatever else, you can walk around, interact with the animals, and the zoo is open, so you get to see all that great stuff too. You get to learn about Fragile X, how it's impacting our community, and just community coming together. You have other sponsors there. They all have tents set up, food, drink. There's music. There's a whole award ceremony for those that compete in the actual 5K and run it. It's awesome, and if you're in the Miami area, I highly recommend it. Check it out. Obviously, hit up the website, hit the donation box. This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Michele, for coming on today, taking the time to again build awareness and to participate. I am very much looking forward to getting out to the zoo, obviously participating in that stuff. But this is a year-round effort to help these families, to help these children, and to do everything you can. So thank you again so much for everything that you're doing. And thank you so much, obviously, for coming onto the show today.
And Dan, thank you again for shining a light on Fragile X, Families for Fragile X, and how important it is to be a part of the community.
That's awesome. Well, we'll
really
stay. We're going to continue pushing, obviously, and making sure that everyone knows about the upcoming event on March 6th, at the Zoo Miami. So you'll be seeing all that information. If you want to find out about it, obviously hit up Fragile X, contact us. We'll make sure we put you in contact with Michele. But again, thank you so much for joining us here today.
And happy 10-year anniversary again to GlobalPro.
Thank you so much, Michele. Well, good luck, and we'll see you soon. All right, that was awesome. It was awesome to have Michele on to talk about such an important issue that's definitely impacting our community, and building awareness for this and other things is what we're all about. The GlobalPro Cares Foundation is doing everything it can to help the community, and we hope that you, as business owners, community association leaders, step up and do your part. That's what this is about. If you can't come up with an idea, reach out to us. I got lots of ideas about how you can help and get involved. And honestly, this isn't just about taking credit. This is about making a difference. This isn't about an ROI, because it's infinite. If you can help and impact, positively impact our community and children and the families that are impacted by either Fragile X or homelessness or whatever it may be, you are certainly making a difference, and that is certainly strong within our culture here at GlobalPro, and something very important. It is a cornerstone of our mission, is to make sure that we're helping our community. But there's so many things impacting our community, whether again it be homelessness, Fragile X, or whatever it is. Just find your need, right? Find what you can do, what works for you, and make the effort. I mean, it really sometimes doesn't take much. Maybe it's a Thanksgiving dinner that you served the homelessness, or it's donating clothing, whatever it may be. Get involved in the community, build awareness around these issues. And hey, if you're not doing anything on March 6th, or maybe you are, just moved wherever that is, show up at Zoo Miami. It's so much fun. I'm telling you this, I'm not just saying it. I've been there many years. We sponsor it. It is such an awesome community event. The weather's typically pretty good. We've had a little rain here and there, but whatever, rain or shine, we show up, we have a great time. There's food, there's water, there's lots of beverages, there's a whole award ceremony and music. It's a great event for families, and we hope you will join us on March 6th. And again, if you want more information about it, check out the Families for Fragile X website, as well as contact GlobalPro, and we'll make sure that you get in contact with Michele and her entire team. So again, Thank you, Michele. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to tune in. We are excited. We are still celebrating 10 years. I founded this company in 2012 with a mission to make sure that we help our community, that we protect the interests of the policyholders, and we are going to continue doing that. We are going to continue to do what we can to help you as business owners and community association leaders. So if there's anything that we can do, if you need more information, hey, make sure that you like us, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get the information you can use. That's what this broadcast is about every Thursday at 11 o'clock. And we'll see you next week right here, same place, same time. Thank you so much to Michele and for everyone for tuning in this week on the Recovery Report Live.